Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Hannah and let's talk books. So I have never made a most anticipated video before because generally I don't follow new releases. I very rarely pre-order books and don't buy new ones very often. I don't have the space for one, and two, that costs a lot of money and I don't like paying full price for things. So it's just generally something I don't keep up with. However, I did want to give it a try this year with the caveat that only one book on this list I have pre-ordered, and most likely I won't be buying any of these. It's just these are books that I would hope to read if I could purchase all of them, kind of thing. And if I do have the opportunity to read them, maybe through like an e-arc or something, then I will definitely take it. And I'm also going to be trying screen recording for the first time in a really long time. So hopefully that goes off with no issues. So without further ado, let's get into it. I'm gonna turn into a tiny square up in the corner and let's go. Okay, so the first book is How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix. Let's see. Oh, Jesus, why did that become insanely big? So that is the cover. This was actually originally supposed to come out this year, actually, but it got delayed for some reason, and I actually pre-ordered this book January of this year. So like by the time I get it, it will have been a year, pretty much exactly, since I pre-ordered it. But this is supposed to come out January 17th of next year. And oh yeah, these are ordered in the I can't explain things. Like the order of these is the order they are being released. There we go. That was really hard to get out. And so this is the description here. I'm not gonna read like the whole thing or anything like that. But basically it's about these siblings who I think need to sell like their family home or something after their parents pass. They quickly find out this house is kind of fucked up and might be haunted, and yeah. It says, before her parents died, they taped a newspaper over the mirrors and nailed shut the attic door. So yeah, those are generally not good signs. And with Grady Hendrix in general, I kind of have a love-hate relationship with his books. I really either really like it or don't. But I had to give this one a try because it's haunted houses, and that is like my weakness. I love a good haunted house book, which is why I actually did pre-order it. But actually, look at that. There's already almost 400 ratings, and it has a really good rating so far. So I'm actually surprised there's that many ratings. A lot of people must have read our copies of this. So yeah. Next is Episode 13 by Craig DeLuey. I just found out about this book the other day, but this comes out January 24th of next year. Let's see. Oh, see, this is much more reasonable size. But as you can see, this has to do with a ghost hunting reality TV crew, and I love movies with that premise, and I also watched a lot of Ghost Adventures when I was a teenager, so I think that's just very nostalgic for me. But basically, it's a ghost hunting crew goes into a place for their show, and things get a lot more real than they expected them to be. So like once again, this is another like haunted house book, and so like obviously it has to be on this list for me. I just realized, I think I've always heard this pronounced Clytemnestra, but there's a T. So is it Clytemnestra? I don't know, that sounds a bit weird. Anyway, this is on this list by Costanza Casati, and let's see, there you go. I don't know, I feel kind of weird about this cover. Oh, Tortilla's chirping at birds in the background if you happen to hear her. So this comes out March 7th of next year, and obviously this is another Greek retelling, but thank God this one is supposed to be adults. I believe there is another Greek retelling coming out next year as well about this person, so it's really quickly becoming a saturated genre. And of course it says for fans of Madeline Miller's books. It says, Clytemnestra, the most notorious villainess of the ancient world, and the events that forged her into the legendary queen. And even though I do like Greek mythology, this is not one I'm familiar with. But basically whenever I can pick up a Greek myth retelling, I definitely want to try it, especially when it's ones I'm not familiar with. And honestly, I really would like to get out of the Minotaur ones. Oh my goodness, chirp chirp. Next is Feed Them Silence by Lee Mandello. This comes out March 14th, so just a few days later. This is a novella. It's saying it's only 112 pages, which I love short stories and novellas, so definitely right up my alley. This one is definitely more out of my comfort zone. As you can see, the first genre is sci-fi, and that's not generally what I read, and oh my god, why is this so big again? Dorothy's so loud in the background. A toxic love story, oh boy. So this one is definitely a bit more weird. There's like this scientist or doctor person who's like obsessed with wolves and understanding them, to where she like uses neurological stuff to kind of become one, and it's just like, what? And so just from reading the description of this, like the whole premise I feel like does work better as more of a novella than a full-length novel. I think this is something where it could kind of get old very quickly. Definitely on my radar still. Next we have Piñata by Leopoldo Gautz. I don't know if that's how you say the last name. And right away it says A Head Full of Ghosts meets Hereditary, which I have not read Head Full of Ghosts, but I do know of it. And I have seen Hereditary and have been scarred forever by it. So just having that be one of the comparisons is like, whew. But this also comes out March 14th. Let's see. Oh, okay. Well, that one doesn't really do much. But this cover is pretty intense. And this is a possession story, if I'm remembering right. Basically, like, I'm doing this so you can kind of read the full description if you want, even though I'm not reading it. But basically this woman like goes back to Mexico with her 2 children to like renovate this hotel or renovate something into a hotel. And there's an incident that happens with one of her daughters that makes her say, like, cut her losses and be like, no, I'm not doing this anymore, and go back to New York. But when they return home, they kind of realize that something is happening with the daughter. So I'm actually surprised at the rating. I actually just looked at it. There's only 45, but it's only a 3.71. Usually new releases have a lot higher rating after arcs. Wow, why is that not loading at all? Well, Goodreads is trash, so let's move on. So I'm also anticipating Atalanta by Jennifer Saint, another Jennifer Saint book. So it definitely seems like she is going to be putting out 1 book a year, which usually when authors do that, I'm a bit wary of. Like, there's already a Goodreads page for her other book that'll come out in 2024 that's supposed to be about Hera, which I haven't read anything about her, it seems, so I'm really excited for that. But I haven't read Electra yet. I did read Ariadne. I think that was my first read of this year, actually, if I'm remembering right. So I definitely want to read Electra before I would read this. And I'm basically just waiting for it to be available in my library, really. Oh yeah, let's do that. Okay, and what determines the size of these? This is garbage. So once again, more Greek myth retellings. This comes out April 13th of next year. And I'm actually going to read a little bit of this because I don't know much. I don't know who this is even. When a daughter is born to the king of Arcadia, she brings only disappointment. Oh, lovely. Left exposed on a mountainside, the defenseless infant Atalanta is left to the mercy of a passing mother bear and raised alongside the cubs under the protective eye of the goddess Artemis. Okay, that's cool. I actually don't think I've read this description before, which, like, a lot of these, I don't even know what they're about, really. Swearing that she will prove her worth alongside the famed heroes of Greece, Atalanta leaves her forest to join Jason's band of Argonauts. Oh lord. But can she carve out her own place in the legends in a world made for men? So since they're talking about Jason, I wonder if they're going to talk about Medea as well. But yeah, her story actually sounds super interesting, and I really like Artemis, so if I do read Electra and really like it, this might be one that I end up trying to pre-order, so we'll have to see on that. Next is The Haunting of Alejandra by V. Castro, and this one also has a cover that's really cool. Oh, I just realized the skull. I didn't see that there before. So this comes out April 18th, and oh yes, the La Llorona one. Okay. A woman is haunted by the Mexican folk demon La Llorona as she unravels the dark secrets of her family history in this ravishing and provocative horror novel. Nice. Okay, and it is adult, because this was one that I was thinking might be YA, but it is adult. That's cool. And also, I want to read a good book that has to deal with La Llorona after the abomination that is the movie. So I think this is one that I'm actually more interested in than most. But it comes out in April. I don't know. Oh, it's not even that long. 272 pages. Okay, this is one where I might not pre-order it, but I might, like, when it comes out, see how much it is on Kindle, since they're usually a lot cheaper. And if it's like around 8 or something, like, I'd probably get it, kind of thing. All right, and next we have The Salt Grows Heavy, which this is one I am super interested in. It's also another novella at 112 pages. This comes out May 2nd, and and look at that cover. Like, also, the plague mask look is always cool. Alright, so let's see what we have going on here. Oh yeah, it's the mermaid one. Okay, yeah. As you can tell, I have forgotten so much about these. So this one just sounds so crazy. After murdering her husband and burning his kingdom to cinders, a mermaid joins a strange doctor on a journey through the eerie taiga. Deep in the woods, the pair stumble upon a village full of seemingly ageless children and the 3 surgeons who oversee them, called only the Saints. That's some Peter Pan vibes there. After discovering the villagers' taste for a sinister blood sport, the mermaid and her companion must embrace the darkest parts of their true nature if they hope to survive. Ooh, so survival story a bit. Definitely gonna be dark. I have only ever read one other mermaid story, I believe. And that one was a romance of all things. So definitely looking forward to check this out. Because that premise, like, that's a hook right there. Like, that's a really good premise. Alright, so then we have the yearly Riley Sager. And after The House on the Lake, or whatever the hell it's called, like, my hope isn't very high. And also, it's like 368 pages. What the hell? But this is the only one left by Riley Sager. It's supposed to come out June 20th. And the cover's fine, I guess. It's whatever. Oh, The House Across the Lake. Excuse me. Stupid fucking book. And, like, since this is on a cliff over water, it literally, like, feels like the same vibes. I don't know. But it says it's gothic. Okay, it is adult, because I see young caregiver, and I was like, oh shit, is this gonna be YA? And also Lizzie Borden, like, massacre. Like, I like gothic stories. The Lizzie Borden case, like, I would love to go to the Lizzie Borden house someday. Like, that's so well known. So it's just like, I kind of have to read it. It's like the Grady Hendrix. It deals with stuff that I like, and so I need to give it a chance, even though I might not have the best track record with the author. So hopefully this could be a 4-star, but wow, it only has 7 ratings. Maybe there aren't many arcs sent out yet because it's not till June. I don't know. But anyway, moving on, we have Silver Nitrate by Silvia Moreno Garcia. So she's the one that did, oh my god, it just slipped through my head. Mexican Gothic, holy crap. That's the one book I've read by her. I haven't read anything else because they just don't really interest me. Like, the one book was YA, and the other one, the Dr. Moreau daughter one, I haven't really enjoyed what I've heard about it. So then there's this. And I really like this cover. Like, oh my god, this is really impactful. And Jesus Christ, that is horrifying when it is large. But it says it's a meld of Mexican horror movies and Nazi occultism? Like, what? Dark thriller. Ooh, so it is more of a thriller. Okay. Curse that haunts a legendary lost film. Oh yeah, because I did read this the other day. And hidden powers? Like, what? I'm not really interested in the woman having powers thing. Like, that seems a bit weird. But a haunted film? I've seen some movies based on that, and I do think that's a trope I like. So hopefully that is the case for when it's in a book. But also, what is the name? Montserrat? Montserrat? Not sure how to pronounce the MC's name. But yeah, it having to deal with horror movies, like, oh, that's another thing close to my heart. So I just feel like this is another one where, even though the book I did read by this author wasn't the best, maybe this one will be better. And then finally, we have Looking Glass Sound by Catriona Ward. I have only read one book by her, but it happens to be my favorite book of the year. And so if I read one of her other ones and I really enjoy that as well, I think this might be one that I pre-order because it does not come out till August 8th. And I don't know if I said when the last one came out. But also the premise of this one, it's another one where I'm a little unsure of. Like, the descriptions of her other books appeal to me more than this. But this does sound a bit Stephen King to me, and I do enjoy the cover. But basically it seems to be about this guy where he had this friend that he claims basically like plagiarized his life writing. And now that he's like trying to write his own book, like his memories are getting confused. He can't tell what's real and what's not, kind of thing. And so that doesn't exactly sound that original because I feel like I've heard that plot multiple times. See, knowing how she did The Last House on Needless Street, I feel like there would definitely be some sort of crazy twist in there. So I am intrigued. And that's all. Those are all the books that I'm kind of keeping my eye on for 2023. I might read some more of the author's other works to see if maybe this will be a book I want to purchase. But like I said, I probably will not be reading most of these right as they come out. But thank you for hanging out with me. As always, it is greatly appreciated. And until next time, bonne journée and au revoir.